Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Year of Lupin III, the retrospective series where I talk about all the movies, TV specials, pretty much everything except for the manga to do with Lupin III. Welcome back. Well, I'm welcoming myself back to the retrospective. It's been a long time. I want to thank you guys for staying tuned. It's been a lot of fun. I've taken a quite a long break working on other projects. And as you can hear, I'm even using a different type of music. Ever since Lupin's had his resurgence with the latest series, part 4 and part 5, I've seen a lot of remixes on YouTube. I'll put links down below to some of the music I was thinking about using, because some of them creative engineers that mix these remixes deserve credit. Anyway, I digress. Before we get started, if you look at the title of this video, you will notice this is going to be kind of very off topic. We're going to talk Lupin. We're going to talk a title that I was actually very excited about, but we're also going to talk about a lot of things actually. I want to just kind of clear the air. First and foremost, I want to give a massive shout out to the Lupin community. There's so many projects out there that are awesome. First place I got a shout out is the Lupin III Reddit, or the Lupin III subreddit. They're great. I've always hosted most of my content there. A lot of good feedback. I appreciate you guys letting me share there. Love the conversation. And one of the things we're going to talk about, it was inspired by the Reddit team there. I want to shout out Lupin Central. They're like the fan website getting all the news together. I don't think I've shouted them out enough, but most of the time I look on there first to see what's happening with Lupin III, the franchise. So many good tidbits. If you really want up-to-date news apart from the subreddit, go to Lupin Central. And last but not least, I actually found out from Lupin Central, Lupin III actually has a fan podcast, which is called Arsenine Lupin. Fantastic name. Check out those guys as well. I might even auction myself to be on their podcast at some point to talk Lupin, because we're all fans and I love what they're doing. But again, all the links to these things are going to be down below. Love the community. And again, I'm going to continue by first saying, since the last time I did a recording talking about a title, there's probably 4 or 5 movies that have been released. So from this point, I'm going to talk about some things on this episode, and then I'm going to go and traditionally just do the reviews, each and every one, each of the movies. I think we've got Fujiko's Lie, The First, Prisoner of the Past, and one more. But yeah, I've got a couple to catch up on, which I'm going to watch and review. And as always, guys, I want your feedback on this, your your input, because it's always just opinions. The one of the last videos I did, and on this channel, Planet Tyra, one of the most successful videos we've done is a Lupin III top 10, which has a lot of views. A lot of people are thankful for that. But I want to expand on that in a moment, because I've always got this question that I want to tackle in my own way, which is I always get asked, where do we start? Where do I start watching Lupin III? I want an introduction into the character, but you know, there's 5 TV series, over 20, 30 specials, movies, and all this other stuff. I just want I don't want to watch everything. I don't want to be a Lupin completionist, but I want to get a good feel for the franchise. What would you do, Don? Very subjective question. I've seen this on everything. I've seen this on the Lupin subreddit. I've seen it on My Enemy List. I've seen it on IMDb. People always ask, what's the best Lupin, da 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 da. And the top 10 is a okay place to start, but it's not necessarily how I would recommend people watch Lupin. I have a few suggestions, but before that, we're going to talk about a title. Let's put the FAQ stuff to the end, because this is going to be more of a discussion based episode. But the last thing, I believe, let's say part 5 was the most recent Lupin III content I reviewed and discussed. And at the same year, I believe that was 2018, on the DVD Blu-ray box set, they released a special, I really wish this was a movie, but just an episode, a special 30-minute release called Lupin is Still Burning, or Is Lupin Still Burning? Now, the title of this episode, or what they've created, is very, very poignant, because the first episode from part 1 of Lupin III is called Lupin is Burning. So I thought, oh, have they remade the first episode with today's animation graphics, with a higher level of quality? First thing I did was I went back and I watched the first episode of Lupin III Part 1, the Green Jacket, and I thought, we're going to compare. I'm going to do a comparison between the original first episode and the remake, but it turns out, is Lupin Still Burning? This isn't a remake. This is actually kind of a sequel, just continuing. It's related to the first episode, and I got to be honest, before I even talk about it, I'm upset that it's only 30 minutes, because I can tell you, I've been very critical on all the Lupin OVAs, movies, TV specials. Every Lupin release that's more than an hour and a half, like movie length, I've been quite critical. A lot of them are okay, just above average, okay watches. But this idea they had with is Lupin Still Burning, I think this could have been a special in its own right. This was fan service done right. It wasn't the most deep story, but it was a love letter to the franchise, and I really wish it was longer. But alas, it was only half an hour. The characters getting entangled again with the first villain of the first episode, Mr. X, and then you even get a surprise with other villains the franchise is known for. Probably two of Lupin's most notorious villains. Definitely Paikao is one of them. And second of all, is it Ryusuke Mamo from that movie Elusiveness of the Fog? I want to say, I think it did help watching the first episode again, so I could truly appreciate what they were doing with this 30-minute special to commemorate the 50-year anniversary. Because one of the takeaways, when I watched that first episode of Green Jacket again, one of the first thing I noticed, call me a dirty old man or whatever, but that episode, the original first episode, had a scene where Fujiko is being held down and she has all these hands on her, and it's the stereotypical hentai scene, the tentacles, it made me laugh. Lupin III was probably the originator of the tentacles or the hands on a woman's body, and they replicated that even in this special. They even went above them. They were gonna even one up it. It really made me laugh. But apart from that, it's just there's not much to say about this special commemorative episode, because it really is just Lupin meeting Mr. X again. Meaning he gets drawn back into the same situation it was in the first episode. He goes along with it, and then he gets swindled into like a time travel alternate reality version of what it would be like if the team didn't get together. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. I really did. It was really enjoyable. I don't really want to say more than that, except I'm just disappointed this wasn't longer. It was a homage to the whole franchise. This 30-minute special isn't really for newcomers. This is for someone like myself, or someone who's watched most of the franchise, who can see the callbacks, who knows Paikao and this Ryusuke Mamo and Mr. X. And, this is one of the first times Lupin is also aware of his own jackets, because there's so many. There's a red jacket, green jacket. What's going on? This is the first time I know in part 5 he was also reminiscing about the past and who he is, which is what made that series good. But I really like this special just because it really showed the friendship he had. And I know essentially this is part of part 5. It's a special that's tied onto part 5 if you bought the Blu-ray box set. But on its own, I think this is really good. And in my opinion, this 30-minute special is better than a lot of the movies, a lot of the TV specials I've seen over the Lupin III years. And, the title, again, let's just cover all the bases. The title, Lupin is Burning, I think it's a hilarious title, because the whole reason this special is called that is because the bad guy, Mr. X, is confused. At the end of the first episode of Green Jacket, he's confused. He thinks Lupin's on fire when he's already lost, which is hilarious. So he's asking himself, is Lupin still burning? Means has Lupin lost? And no, the answer is no. He keeps on winning for 40, 50 years in this franchise. This is fantastic, man. I really did enjoy it. And since I've taken a break from watching and talking about Lupin, watching this special really was the best thing to reignite my enjoyment of the Lupin franchise. And yeah, is Lupin still burning? 2018 special. I would give it a high solid B. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, man, I really, really wish it was longer. I know it's just milking it, like I'm milking talking about a 30-minute special, but these 30 minutes were better than some of the hour and a half specials, like more than half of them. I'm sorry. That's me being harsh again. But if you agree with me, you disagree with me, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So yeah, that's the first part of the conversation. And the next part is I want to address some things, because I've done all these videos over all these years. People have asked me questions. And before we resume the retrospective and I start talking about the movies I haven't seen from 2018 to now 2020, I want to answer some questions and some thoughts I have on the franchise as a whole. And just like I alluded to in the beginning, I want to start with a very, it's a very makes sense question. If you're a fan of, if you're not a fan of Lupin and you want to get into it, you want to know, how should I watch it? Now, I saw 2 videos on YouTube. I'll put on the screen and I'll link it in the description, where we've got 2 fellow YouTube fans, Lupin III fans, explaining how to get into Lupin. And I thought they were very good. I'm going to link both of them. You can see them on the screen, check them out. But I got a different take. Everyone's going to have a different take on how they think you should approach something. And you guys might not agree with what I'm about to say, but I want to start by saying, if I was introducing someone to Lupin III, the first thing I would say is, are you a completionist? Because you've got 5 seasons of Lupin III. Was it 23 first season, 155 second, 53rd, then I think 26 and 24 for the. You're coming up to 300 episodes just for the series. That's putting aside the woman named Fujiko Mine, and then you've got 20 or 30 movies. It's a lot. It is a hell of a lot. So my approach to saying to someone, this is how you should watch Lupin first, is on a purely enjoyment level. I want to expose people to the most enjoyable parts of Lupin III first. Then, if someone wants to become a diehard fan and be a completionist and go all the way back and watch everything, then you've got so much to go through, a lot of the hit and miss stuff. But this is how I would do it. And again, feel free to disagree, or better yet, in the comments down below, share your opinion on how you would do it, because everyone's got an opinion. But I'm going to start by calling my How to Watch Lupin guide Lupin Stomp. Stomp stands for the Selective Taste Overseeing Monkey Punch. Just a dumb acronym I made up because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to start this in 3 stages. The first stage, again, I'm only going to cut away a lot of the fat and just keep the most enjoyable stuff. In that top 10 video I made, which I'm about to spoil, if I was going to introduce someone to Lupin III, I would start by giving them the 4 best specials first. So for me, right off the bat, that would be Castle Cagliostro, The Plot of the Fuma Clan, Island of Assassins, and Episode 0. In that order. The Hayao Miyazaki one, everyone loves it. Everyone adores it. Don't need any context. It's fun, it's enjoyable, great animation, start there. Plot of the Fuma Clan, a lot of the same visual artists worked on it visually. Great story with Goemon. Island of Assassins, a lot darker, but really one of the best Lupin stories in the whole movie franchise. And Episode 0, a great what if this is how they got together. I would start there. That's stage 1 for me. I would give someone those 4 movies. I say, did you enjoy stage 1? Did you like that? All right. Then I'll say it's time for stage 2. Then I would delve into the TV series. And how I would do stage 2 is I would only talk, I would say, listen, there's old Lupin, the old retro TV series, part 1, 2, and 3. And if you remember, guys, when I did my reviews of part 1, 2, and 3, I said, you know what? I'm going to single out episodes from each part. Watch these first and then skip the rest for now. So for part 1, there was only 8 episodes that I would say is the cream of the crop. I'll put it on the screen now. These are the 8 episodes of part 1 you should check out. Part 2, which is 155 episodes, I cut it down to 19 must-watch episodes. And part 3, the part I didn't really like, I got very critical on that part, the pink jacket part where the animation was super Looney Tunes, 6 episodes only. So in total of the three retro parts, the 3 retro series, the first 3 series, that's 33 episodes I would recommend. All right, so part 1, stage 1 was the 4 movies, the top 10 for the best movies. Stage 2 was curated episodes I've chosen from the first 3 parts. 33 episodes in total, right? From the first 2 stages, I think you've got a good grasp of Lupin, a good grasp of the history. You've seen all the kind of animation stages. And then the 3rd stage is what I would call the modern revival series. A Woman Named Fujiko Mine is my favorite Lupin III TV series. I love it. Watch that. That's modern Lupin. It's a darker, sexier interpretation, but still great. And then part 4 and part 5 is, again, great Lupin, modern Lupin, great animation, a bit of everything. That's the final stage. And that's how I would give, that's how I know, to be honest with you, it's still a meaty task to say, hey, watch 4 movies, then 33 episodes, and then 3 series. But I think taking that cut away from the hundreds of hours is still a great way to get into Lupin if they're serious. Now, if someone said to me, that sounds way too long, I want it cut down even more, and believe me, I don't like this idea at all, then I'll say, fine. If you want just to see modern Lupin of great animation, only watch 4 things. Castle Cagliostro, A Woman Named Fujiko Mine series, part 4 and part 5. Now, that recommendation, which I just call quick and dirty modern Lupin recommendation, is for people who just don't want to go back. They want to just watch more modern, get a good idea of Lupin. I think people should experience Lupin in all phases, but hey, if you just want modern Lupin, I think Castle Cagliostro is a must. Hayao Miyazaki. Woman Named Fujiko Mine, yes, it's not the real origin, but whatever. And then part 4 or 5, that's it. I wouldn't go any lower than that, to be honest with you. Agree to disagree, or you don't think I'm right, or whatever. It's all opinionated. That's my opinion, just based on someone who's watched all the series. But yeah, man. Yeah, that is that's still a non-completionist way to watch Lupin III. And yeah, that's my answer to the question, how to watch Lupin III. Believe me, I'm very well aware it is very hard to pinpoint all these series. I know Crunchyroll has got pretty much all the parts, but when it comes to the individual movies, they're all over the place. I'll answer a question I get a lot later, but for now, let's just leave it at that for that part of what I want to talk about. And lastly, to wrap up this little rambling discussion I've had on Lupin, I get a lot of questions about what I've done, my thoughts, a lot of disagreements, and I love it. That's the point. We're all fans, we all got different perspectives. So I want to wrap up on the questions I probably get the most, and I want to start with the most obvious one, which I get all the time. I don't condone piracy, but a lot of people leave comments like this in the video. Where can I watch this episode? Where can I watch this movie? I can't buy it. I can't find it. It's not on Crunchyroll. Well, at the end of the day, even I've had to go outside the legal circles to watch some of these things. I've wanted to give them my money. I've wanted to get it imported from Japan. But if they won't let me do it, I will find a way and pay the money later. It's a very pirate justification, but it's the best I could do. I'm not going to tell anyone where to download these movies, because honestly, if you're good with Google, you can find it. The only quote-unquote clue I will give is there's a site called AnyDB. It's an anime database. It's like the anime version of IMDb. If you search for a Lupin title there and you look in the details, usually people who fan sub that movie or that episode You can find who the fan sub group is there, and that's all I need to say. If you can't figure out the rest, then you're on your own. But even me saying that is a bit much. I might get in trouble for that, but it is what it is. I want to give a special shout out to the fan subbing community that subbed Lupin for all these years. Because honestly, I saw a lot of these movies in fan sub, and the guys who took the time out to translate and hard sub and put subtitles on, trust me, as a very, very amateur video editor, scripting and putting subtitles on, with anime in general, the fan subbing days, they're not even as big as it used to be because people are just ripping and using Android apps to watch anime and all these other sites. It's much easier than it was before. But I still appreciate fan subbing groups who fan sub anime that don't get released. It's very difficult. So I want to give them a shout out. But that's to answer that question. Next question I get is, am I going to update the top 10 list that I made already with more? Because every year there's a Lupin special or even two. And am I going to adjust? The short answer is yes, probably in a decade when there's about 10 or 20 more movies. As it stands right now, at the time of this recording, I haven't seen any movie that would dethrone the 4 movies I mentioned before. Castle Cagliostro, Island of Assassins, The Plot of the Fuma Clan, Episode 0. To me, they're still the top 4 movies, TV specials, and I haven't watched anything yet that will dethrone them. And I want to wait a good number of years so we can add a lot. Maybe I'll do another list or something, but honestly, a lot of the Lupin movies are just average in terms of quality, and the ones that rise to the top, it's taken 50 years for it to be even the top 10 in my opinion, because a lot of it is kind of run of the mill. But yeah, you know I'm a critical bastard, guys. So that's my answer to that. Another question is, what movies would I remake with today's animation standards, or what do you think they should do again, or what movies would I want to see with the Lupin franchise? I would really like to see a movie where they would give Zenigata, I think he needs to level up in a way. I know he's a jovial character, he's slapstick, he's just a fumbling detective, but I remember there was that one movie that was, I think it was the only movie that Monkey Punch directed himself. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm bad for not even having this prepared. But that was one of the only movies where Zenigata was really on Lupin's ass hard, and I thought that was great. And yeah, I know people have been very critical of me not liking Tokyo Crisis as well, the Zenigata movie, but I watched it again recently just to see if I was being harsh, and I still think the tone is just all over the place, lackluster villain, and I think Zenigata deserves a better movie. You know, I wouldn't even mind a Zenigata series, him working in the ICPO, him dealing with other criminals while Lupin and them are on the periphery of what's going on. Just like with the Fujiko series where the team were not the main focus, but they were there. I think I wouldn't mind seeing the police and the international police chase other criminals while they're chasing Lupin as well, and showing Zenigata as a competent officer. Now, in the Fujiko Mine TV series, he was a lot darker. It was a very interesting take on Zenigata. He was a hard, questionable cop, and I know some people didn't like that, but I kind of want to, I just want him to have more accolades, you know what I mean? I like him being bumbling, he is funny and stuff, but sometimes I just think there's a reason he should be, him being part of the ICPO, I want to see why, you know? And whenever I remember him always saying, and now I'm going off on a tangent, one of the reasons he loves chasing Lupin is it kind of ups his skills. When he's chasing the Master Thief, it makes him have those skills as well. Well, I want to see what Zenigata will be up against other criminals just because of that, and have Lupin team around. I think that would be awesome. There's so many times Lupin and Zenigata have teamed up to beat someone, but I would just love to see, you know, I think it could work. So that's what I'd want to see. As for the individual movies, a lot of the movies made in the 80s, the TV specials that were not of good quality, I wouldn't mind seeing them with better visuals. But, you know, I'm of the mind that better visuals don't make a better story. And a lot of the Lupin stories are not that great, are very run-of-the-mill. But I always think they should just err on the side of being fun with just good heists. But to my mind, honestly, I can't think of one. I think there was one movie where they were set in a desert. That movie I wouldn't mind being redone. And Episode 0, I reckon you know, they should either redo episode 0 with today's animation, which would be gorgeous, or make another, maybe this is how they got together, a new version episode 0, maybe a new alternative way. And that's why I loved, by the way, going back to the Lupin is Still Burning, I loved watching him go back in his past and meet the team again. That was great. So yeah. Other than that, oh, and part 3, the part that I really don't like and stuff like that, I would say animate it again, but I don't know, man. I just didn't like the tone. It was just way too wacky. Apart from the style, it was just, the tone was too wacky for me. Even if it was animated today, it reminds me of, like, you know, sometimes in anime, they make chibi versions. Like, I think Naruto had a chibi version series that was just a spin-off, or Fist of North Star had a chibi version spin-off. That's cool and that's separate, but don't call that a Lupin part. I wish part 3 wasn't a part. It was just Lupin III Looney Tunes or some other subtitle. Like the woman named Fujiko Mine, that isn't a part, an official part, even though I wish it was. So why can't something part 3 be that? Anyway, I'm defending myself on part 3, but you know, I can't really stand it. And I got a lot of thumbs down on that. All right, let's wrap this up. I think someone also asked, why don't I make a video of the best Lupin females? Because again, the female characters, damsel in distresses, there weren't a lot of standout ones. I mean, Island of Assassins probably has the most competent and memorable female, apart from Fujiko, in the Lupin franchise. I'm sure I'm being a bit harsh. There was 1 or 2 others, but honestly, best 10 girls, it would honestly be more of an objectification of how beautiful they are, because a lot of them didn't have a lot of talent and they weren't really deep. I know I'm wrong. I'm thinking of a few, but honestly, I don't think there's enough female characters for me to warrant doing a best Lupin females discussion. But maybe I'll do a podcast about that. Maybe I'll option that. I don't know. Maybe I'll actually, the guys that do the Lupin III podcast, Arsenine Lupin, maybe they should talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about it with them down the line. I don't know. I shouldn't even make promises about being on that podcast. I don't even know if they'll have me. You know what? I think I'm going to stop there. People just want me to shut up and get back to the retrospective, talk about the future movies in the Lupin franchise. Definitely look forward to doing that. But yeah, I really did enjoy Lupin is Still Burning. I love the franchise, love where it's going. Oh, and the last thing I do want to see, I said this on the part 5 episode, I want to see a black jacket. I want to see Lupin in a black jacket in Las Vegas. I want a Las Vegas Ocean 11 style Lupin series just in Nevada, man, in America. I think that'll be awesome, man. So that's what I want to see. I don't know where the next part is right now. I don't know. I have no idea. And there's a black jacket movie we're going to be watching and talking about soon. So hopefully the next movies I'm going to be talking about are great. Just in case you're wondering, the timeline for how often I'm going to be doing these reviews for the next 4 movies I haven't seen, probably every 3 or 4 weeks. I'm working in the hospital, coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Hope you guys are staying safe. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I'm not going to edit everything I just said, mostly, so I can just put this episode out. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. Give me your thoughts on, what do you think? How do you think people should get into Lupin III? I always say Lupin and not Lupin. I apologize, but I just don't care that much. Just like with One Piece, I say Luffy instead of Luffy. I don't know what it is with me and being British, or my dialect, or being lazy, having no respect. That's a whole other tangent I'm getting on. Let me get off, guys. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel, Planet Tyro. We do everything here. Most of you guys know I've been working on a sister project called Voice of Mel, where we talk about, not anime, news, politics, entertainment, television, movies, and stuff like that. Check that podcast out if you're interested. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Lupin III content. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening to me ramble for God knows how long. Take care. Peace out.